Yeah, my mic's not been on mute this whole time. We'll catch you in a second. Hello guys and welcome to TRRL. This is round 5 of season 3. Now you see it's jumped from season 2 to season 3. That's just because I got the wrong season basically. We're actually on season 3, so I do apologise for that. But first things first, I want to thank Simracer Coin for sponsoring the league and helping to contribute to the Division 1 prize funds. So a massive thank you to them. But we are now in a Muller for round 5, and I've had a bit of a hectic start, but I think we are all ready to go now. Now I'm going to jump on board with Blyther as he's the first one out. He seems to always be the first one out as well, so it's kind of convenient that we've got someone to commentate on as they go around the track. Now it does look like it is a little bit drizzly, so that may play a part in people's times, and obviously the performance of their hot lap being... It is a difficult track as is what I'm trying to say. So if you get the wrong corner just a little bit wrong, you might slip onto a wet patch, and well, then from there we all know what happens, and it just doesn't end well. Now we have lost somebody. I don't know who it is. I'm trying to figure out who it is. Hannah is in spectator mode. How have you done that, Hannah? How have you done that? If you back out and leave, it might fix itself, but I'm not sure because you put yourself in spectator mode. When you rejoin the lobby, select the car. Let's try and get Spanner back in as we just stay on board with Blythe. He does start his hot lap. I'll try and commentate my best on it what I can, but I'm also still trying to get another driver back in, so I do apologise if it does look a little bit rough. Right, that should be that sorted. We do have a yellow sector 3. I think that's just somebody slowing down. But we will now start our commentary on Blyther's hot lap. Now that I think I might have sorted that out. So he's going through. I don't even know what turn he's on. He's going through turn 8. Just exited turn 8 now. So I'm with him now. I'm with him. Bit of a hectic start to the stream. I do apologise about that, but I'm sure it is not a problem. He does run wide there and doesn't validate. So it is very easy to actually run wide there coming out of turn 9. No. No. What turn is that? I've got my turns mixed up. It's out of turn 9. Yeah, no, turn 8. It's out of turn 8. I do apologise. I've not done my research before this race. Now we will now go on board with Young White Boy, as he is now going to be the next one to complete a hot lap, and we'll see what time he can get on the board for the other drivers to be chasing. So as he comes across the line, it's a 1:16.5, so that's a pretty good time set. And then Jesper comes across the line in that mine to set a 1:16.7. Now he has done that on medium tyres. Spillage has come across the line to set a 1:17 flat. That is on soft tyres. Joe has come across the line set a 1:17.4. And all the times coming in, I'm trying to keep up. James has gone across the line set a 1:15.8. That's the quickest of the lot. Scrolled in the McLaren has set a 1:17.5. Cleason has set a 1:18.8. And Vano rounds it out with a 1:19.3 as it stands. Now, who's on hot lap? It looks like Vag is coming across the line. Oh no, sorry, he's just starting his hot lap. We've now gone on board with, looks like Curly's coming across the line. He's set a 1:19 flat from him in the Alpine. And now we'll go on board. Sorry about me just like going. I'm just trying to get the other driver into the grid, but Apex has set the fastest sector 1 now. I don't know if it's lying to us, but we'll find out later on, as that is an AlphaTauri just behind him. I believe that is Vano, as he's the only. Oh no, it might be Spillage. Who is it? It looks like it is Vano. I did get my guesses correct. So it looks like Vano has had a spin there at turn 7. Oh, and that's Blyther in the wall. I've completely missed it. I'm really trying to get this other driver in, guys. Sorry, it looks like Blyther has actually gone into the wall there. He has lost it through turn 9 and turn 10, sorry, and that is a very tricky turn indeed. It's very horrible for the drivers, and a lot of them will be caught out by it. Now, Apex will be coming across the line very shortly. It does look like it is starting to rain, so these laps are actually going to be crucial, as we might not see an improvement on anybody's time throughout the rest of the session if it does continue to rain. So that's Apex now moved up into 5th place with a 1:17.2. Who else is starting to finish their lap? Looks like Paige hasn't got her lap sorted. LH44 looks like he's invalidated, and Blyther obviously has lost his wing. So this is going to be very interesting indeed, as if it continues to rain a little bit more than it is, we will see the times dropping off. But as you can see, Apex is not showing any sign of slowing down and just goes 9 thousandths quicker in sector 1 than he previously did, setting the fast sector 1 once again. So we know he has got the pace. Maybe he had a little bit of an issue during sector 2 and 3. You can see the back end just wobbling a little bit there, going through turn 7, but now into turn 9 and 10. Sorry, that was turn 8. He does invalidate, and like I say, it's very easily to do it through turn 9 and 10. It's a very tricky corner indeed. You have to trust the back end of your car very much. And you can see he's just backed off there. So he's currently running in P5. Now, what cars have we got out on track? Because it looks like LH44 has started his lap, and you can see him struggling massively, the rear end, just losing it out of turn 7 there. So we'll stay on board with the Alfa Romeo driver. He's currently leading the championship, and he is not in the best of positions as it stands, having to do a lap in much wetter conditions than the rest of the grid. So we'll see how far he can manage to get up the field. It does look like the rain is staying around the same. It doesn't look like it's getting worse, but we know it can get worse any second now, and you can see him getting turn 11 and 12 spot on there. So that Alfa Romeo driver only has turn 13 and 14 and 15 to go. There's 3 turns apparently. There's the long straight, and the back end is wobbling all over the place, and you can see there he must have lost a lot of time, and that's going to put him as at 116.8. So we know he has definitely got pace to be up on the front row for sure. I'm not too sure why his back end went so wobbly there. Well, sorry, I'm not too sure how fast he was going, but he must have been going pretty quick if he managed to still set a quick enough time for P4. We have the Aston Martin driver of Joe losing it on his outlap. So we have all our drivers now on outlaps. Now we'll go on board with James as he is on his outlap. Now I'm just still trying to get this other driver in. It's like a nightmare. So James comes across the line to start his hot lap, I believe. Is he started it? Or, yeah, he's just started his hot lap. So I'll stay on board for you guys with James. There won't be much commentary as I'm still trying to get the last driver in, which is no problem at all. But Blythe is also on a hot lap as well, yet to set a time. So we'll keep our eyes on him as well if James does invalidate. So James looking good through turn 10 there, but he is 7 tenths down on his time. So we'll hop on board with Blythe as he is yet to set a time. We'll see what he has been doing. We can obviously see the rain must be having its effect on the drivers, as a lot of them are going slower than their previous times. We don't really see any other drivers improving on their time too much. Only 8 minutes left of this qualifying session. So Blythe just has turn 14 and 15 to go now. I just don't want to invalidate, but you want to use as much track as possible to get as much speed as possible through turn 15 and 14. But he comes across the line, it is enough to take P10, so he has managed to move up a few positions, get his car into P10. He knows he's got more pace than that, as we've seen him qualify much more further up the grid, but unfortunately, due to having to do his lap in the wet, has not helped one bit. Reason has decided to come out on medium tyres. But Vag now is 1 tenth up on his time in the Williams, so we will stay on board with him as he exits turn 7. Now, doesn't look to have any problems with the rear end. Maybe the rain isn't affecting them too much, but we can see it is heavier than it was a few laps ago, a few minutes ago. So the rain is getting worse, so the drivers have got to get in their lap time now, ideally, but I think it might be a little bit too late anyway. So as Bag comes across the line now, what time is he going to put down on the board? He has got to improve by 1 tenth to move up the position. He comes across the line, is 1.5 tenths up quicker on his time, so that does mean he will now move up into P7 ahead of the Aston Martin driver of Joe, who's just coming out of the pits right now actually. Blythe is coming in, Creason's invalidated, Curly's in the pits, Mano is out, yep, they're not improving. We do have Jesper and LH44 right next to each other, actually both on outlaps, and the rain still looks to be coming down, but not heavy enough to make a huge difference, but it's still making a difference for the drivers. So Jesper has now started his hot lap and he'll be entering into turn 2 and 3. This is where a lot of time is won and lost, as I'm sure some of you know through time trial, and it looks like Jesper has got a little bit out of shape there through the back end, so we'll now hop on board with LH44, who looks to mirror Jesper, and looks like the back end is not being kind to either driver, but it does look like LH44 gets through turn 3 and 4 rather well, now into turn 7. Now, I don't know where half these turns are, because it goes from 1 and 2 to like 4 and 5 and then to 7. Where's the turns in between? It must just be the long curve of a straight, I guess. But we'll stay on board with LH44. It looks like he is still on his hot lap now. Now going into turn 10. It's going to be very difficult, but it looks like he does keep the back end together. And you can see now the rain is getting worse, and I don't think he's going to be improving. No, he is not. So I think that might be qualifying over, really, for most of the drivers. Looks like Paige in the Haas has not been able to get a good time down at all. She'll be starting at the back of the grid. I cannot imagine any driver will be able to improve now in these conditions. You can see LH44 actually taking, and it looks like he's lost his wheel, so he must have just thought he was going to send it. Obviously in these conditions that's not the brightest of things to do, but that looks like LH44 will be retired from the session. Now Blyther is out, he's currently out on softs. And it looks like he has also lost it and has now found the wall. So I imagine no driver will be improving on their time as it stands. So that's pretty much the qualifying over, guys, and there's 3 minutes left and you get to listen to me for 3 minutes, which is awesome. I mean, what more could you ask for, really? You can see a lot of drivers actually retiring from the session. I'll be very grateful if they all retire from the session, so then we can just jump straight into the race. But we'll have a look at the conditions. You can see it is still wet. You can see Blyther struggling a lot then. And he finally comes into the pit. So, wow, the start of this commentary was all over the place, and this quali was also all over the place with the weather conditions. So, it's an interesting weather. Qualifying. I can't get my words out either. I'm all over the place too. But I'll run you through the order, but I don't want to do it yet because then I won't be able to run you through the order when the timing's actually up. So then it'll just be more silent. So I'm just trying to find something to actually talk about because we got 2 minutes of me talking about nothing really. But the turns where I think drivers will struggle the most will be turn 2 and 3. The first 2 turns, really, well, apparently one counts as the curb just after the straight, but hey ho. And then you got turn 5 and 6 as well. I think that is probably worse than turn 2 and 4. But you've also got turn 10, which can be really horrible with the back end. It can just throw it around, and we do have young white boy actually coming out onto the track for us to watch, giving us something to do while we wait. But it'll be interesting to see tyre strategy for the drivers today. 32 laps of Imola. A lot of drivers don't seem to be enjoying the track. We had some comments made in the Discord saying they do not like the track, and I agree with them. I don't like the track either. It is a very tricky track indeed, and especially having it in the wet weather doesn't make it any ideal. Young White Boy is warming up his tyres, looking like he's going to try and go for pole. That is a big job to do, and if he does do it, then I'll be very, very impressed. I can't see how he's going to do it. Maybe cut off a couple corners, and he might have a chance. But we will stay on board with him, as unfortunately we have to watch him for one more lap, so we'll see how it goes. And he is retired from the session. So I'll run you through the qualifying order in just a second. Okay, so at P1 we have James in the Mercedes, and in P2 we have Young White Boy. James taking pole by nearly, by 7.5 tenths there. We do have a Mercedes front row lockout. Just is starting in P3 on the medium compound tyres. LH44 in Alfa Romeo in P4. I just said 4th, right? I don't know what's going on, guys. Spillage in P5 in the AlphaTauri. Apex in P6 in the Red Bull. VAG are actually debut in Division 2. Oh no, this is going terrible. P7 is VAG, our debutus. He is in the Williams today, so good job to him for getting P7, but the race is what counts for the points. Joe in P8 there in Aston Martin. Scroll in P9 in the McLaren. Red Bull have got Blyther in P10. And then the start of the fresh tyre runners will be Creason, Curley, Vano, and Page, all outside of the top 10 in P11, 12, 13, and 14. So we will wait for the drivers to sort themselves out, loading out of qualifying, then we will. So I don't know how long this will take, but we will see. And the lobby might have glitched, so we might have to restart and do a custom grid, and Lewis is going to have to put everybody on the grid. Lovely. What a great job I have to do. The things I do, eh? The things I do. What would you do if I won here? Just try and take a picture of the... Oh, here we go. Now my Discord's going off. Oh, it's a beautiful day to be me. Everything's going wrong.